G'day guys, it's Peachy. I wanted to talk to you today about an important skill in dry fly fishing that's going to help you catch more fish. And that's how we pick up the dry fly off the water properly. First I'm going to show you how not to do it, because that's really important. Then I'm going to show you the correct way to do it. And after that, I'll show you a couple of more advanced techniques. Let's get into it. Alright guys, first of all let's talk about how not to do this. Now unfortunately a lot of people do it this way and it's not great. The wrong way to do this is after casting your fly out, it's drifted back towards you, you've let a whole bunch of slack build up in your line, and then you just rip the rod tip up and make a big splash on the surface. The fly crashes off the water, spray flying everywhere from the line and the leader. That's going to spook a lot of fish and it'll mean that you catch far fewer of them, especially in flat, still water. Okay guys, now let's talk about the right way to do this. You've made your drift downstream, you pull the slack up gently with the rod tip, you've been retrieving your slack line with your hand. You lift the fly line gently off the water until you're tight to the fly, and then you just pop into the back cast very gently with a minimum disturbance on the surface. Your goal is to make as little a splash as possible with the fly, the line, and the leader. So, you need to get tension on the fly first before you go into your back cast, okay? And you need to also lift as much of that fly line and leader off the water as you can in order to pick it up cleanly. And that's actually going to set you up better for your back cast than if you're just ripping a pile of slack off the water like this and you've got no tension on the line when you start your cast. So, strip the line in, lift the rod tip, get tension on the fly and then flick into the back cast. And practice doing that with as little disturbance on the surface as possible. So that's the right way to do it, and I use this all the time. But I'm going to show you a couple of more advanced techniques as well for picking up line in different situations. Now, especially if I've got the fly drifting down river to one side of me, often the fly's over there, but I want to cast back up there. I'll use a technique that I call a snake roll pickup. It's like a spiral motion of the rod tip where I'm throwing a loop of line out, it's picking the fly line up off the water and the leader gently, and then I'm able to reposition my casts. Now I can use that to reposition more or less where I was, or I can use it to reposition at a different angle altogether upstream, which is great when your fly is drifting down, you end up there and your back cast is going to be there, but you want to cast up there. So a snake roll pickup is a great way not only to pick up the line cleanly, but to reposition yourself for the next cast. So I'm making a spiral motion with my rod tip. I'm lifting up and going around and over and back, and then into a forward cast. The snake roll is actually a spay cast, which was designed by Simon Gorsworth to lay a spay line on the water and then make a forward cast like this. It's a change of direction cast to lay the leader on the water. But I'm basically doing the same technique here in dry fly, but I'm not touching the fly down on the water. I'm just going into a back cast and then straight into a forward cast like that. So that's the snake roll pickup. You can do it on either side of your body. If you want to cast over there, want to cast over there. Okay, so it's a nice way to quickly and cleanly pick up line. But what I would say about it is you want, when you throw that first loop in the air, you almost want to throw it up slightly, in a slightly upward direction, so that it picks the line up off the water, like that. Okay, so that's the snake roll pickup. It's a very, very useful cast. Now the second one that I want to show you is one that I don't have a name for. It's something that I just do naturally, although I'm sure lots of people have figured this out before me. I don't claim to have invented it. So basically it operates on the principle that your fly line is going to follow the rod tip. So if I've got the fly drifting downstream more or less in line with my rod tip, I don't necessarily want to do a roll cast there because it could wrap around the rod tip. That roll cast is more useful for when the fly, or the snake roll is more useful for when the fly is further out, away from me out there. But if I've got the fly coming down in line with my rod tip here, what I do is I do an underhand flick that picks up line. I'm exaggerating it now. It just picks the line up off the water and lifts the fly. It's just an underhand flick like that. And it's another really useful cast just for picking up a bit of line and lifting that fly off the water cleanly. Now another thing that's really important in picking up your dry fly cleanly is making sure that your fly and leader are floating properly. We're going to deal with that in the next video. If it's finished, it should be here. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.